Lightworkers play a very important role in this greater awakening that humanity is going through right now, and has been and still will continue to go through for some time. And if you're a light worker, then you too play a very big role in this greater awakening, and you have a mission that you're meant to fulfill. And in this video I want to share with you why light workers are really so important when it comes to this whole greater scheme of this greater awakening. You see, the thing is, light workers are important because we are going through a great awakening. We have been ever since 2012. That's when really the greater awakening really started, and it will continue for another 10 or so or more years because we're moving into the next golden age. So a lot has already been happening. More light workers are actually waking up to assist in this greater awakening. And more will continue to wake up because it is us light workers that are really meant to move humanity into the new golden age, because we have all these beautiful gifts of maybe channeling and healing and communicating with spirit, with guides, with higher beings and those type of things. And we simply have more of a higher consciousness as we are going through our own inner awakening to then help others along the way. We're meant to be the beacon of light, the wayshowers, the leaders, to really assist others along the way. And the more we as light workers do our own healing, because that is necessary, in order to really assist others, and well, we need to do our own healing first. We need to wake up first. So whether you just had your initial awakening or you have been on this journey for quite some time, you have realized, or you will realize if you're just at the beginning, there's a lot of healing that is required, because every person is deeply asleep before they have their awakening, while we're being programmed with so much stuff as we're growing up, right? To believe in lack and limitation, and to follow somewhat of a strategy or system, or what's determined to be normal or the right way of going about life determined by society, right? So there's a lot of deprogramming that needs to happen throughout our own spiritual awakening journey. And that is what is necessary, because all that healing that you're doing, all that awakening that you're doing, well, that helps you raise in consciousness, helps you raise in frequency. It helps you really to reconnect with the truth of who you are. Because everyone that is deeply asleep, that hasn't had their awakening yet, they are not connected to their true self. And that's really what the spiritual awakening is all about. It's helping you reconnect with who you are and ascend and awaken and raise in consciousness. And you doing your own self-healing and doing your own inner work is what is going to help you really step into your role as that beacon of light, that light worker, that wayshower, that mentor to others, that guide, that leader to others. And here it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to then become a spiritual teacher or mentor or start a spiritual business or anything like that. It does not mean that, because there are many light workers, they're just doing their own work, and that in itself has a massive ripple effect, because you doing your own work, you doing your own healing and really focusing on your own inner awakening and staying empowered and aligning yourself to the higher frequency and all of those things that come with a spiritual awakening has a ripple effect, because you then start shining your light so much brighter. That in itself raises your frequency and assists in raising the frequency of Earth, of humanity as a general, on a collective level. Now, also another reason why light workers are so important is because we are really meant to take the lead. Because through our own awakening, we learn a lot of things. We then show up differently. We behave differently. We really stand more in our power. We're ultimately becoming then the role model, the wayshower to others. And just by us, and it doesn't even need to mean that you're inviting other people like, hey, you gotta come on this journey with me. Because not everyone is ready when you are. So, but you doing your own work and you standing in your own power, it's always an invitation to others who are not awoken yet to maybe to follow your lead, to follow, you're in your footsteps, so to speak. So it's always an invitation. You don't even have to invite them like verbally, but you just doing your own work has a ripple effect that is always an invitation for others to then maybe also awaken when their time has come, whenever they are ready. But you doing your own work, you're really taking that lead, and that makes you somewhat of a wayshower, even if you're not really working with people or starting a business or anything like that. But like I said, even you just doing your own work makes you a beacon of light, makes you awake way short to others, makes you somewhat of a leader that leads by example. You're walking your own walk, and that in itself makes an impact, because you walking your own walk is an invitation to others to, well, maybe follow your lead. And then also what then usually happens, you may already are at this point, or maybe you're not, but once you're doing your own work, you're learning all these things, then eventually you're going to pay it forward in whatever way, shape, and form you then feel guided to do so. Maybe you're wanting to start a spiritual business, or maybe not. Perfectly fine. Whatever you decide will be just right. But then you may feel called to pay it forward, and paying it forward means then sharing it with other people. If you're maybe learning some spiritual healing modalities, whether it's Reiki or channeling or light language or Akashic records, or you name it, there's so many modalities out there. Maybe at one point you're going to feel called to and offer it to other people, whether it's just your friends and family, or maybe then even more people. Or even if you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. But you just then maybe talking about it gives other people that maybe that inspiration. Oh, you know what? I want to learn that too. So in a way, you're still paying it forward. All the things that you're learning throughout your spiritual awakening journey, you always will pay it forward by sharing it with other people in, like I said, in numerous ways. And that will help them then maybe decide, you know what, I want to follow this path too. Because you see, the thing is, so many people that are just at the beginning of their awakening, or even before they're really awakening, they are feeling lost. So many people are feeling lost, especially with everything that is going on. There's so much overwhelm, so much frustration, so much, really feeling that disconnect and feeling lost in their own life, knowing that there's something better available to them, but they have no idea what that could be. And maybe that's where you're at right now. Maybe you are at the beginning of your spiritual awakening journey, and maybe you're just now starting to realize that there's more to who you are than you have believed yourself to be up until this point, and there's more that you are meant to be doing in this world. So you may too feel somewhat of a sense of feeling lost. And hey, even if you've been on this journey for some time, right now with everything going on, you may still feel somewhat lost, not sure what's going on, because maybe you're experiencing all these cosmic energetic influxes and ups and downs, and maybe you too feel a little lost. But there's so many people as they're on their spiritual awakening journey that feel lost. And when it comes to that greater awakening, I just want you to know that not everyone is open to that. Not everyone is ready to awaken, at that time. So you always want to be cautious when it comes to other people. You doing your own work, just focus on that. And like I said, it will have a ripple effect. But that's also the reason why so many people are feeling lost and overwhelmed, because they are resisting what's going on, because they don't understand what is going on, right? They are rejecting maybe what is asking to unfold, because like I said, there's that lack of understanding or knowing what's going on. Now, just think back at the beginning of your spiritual awakening. I'm pretty sure before you realized that, hey, I'm going through an awakening, there were times when a lot of stuff was going wrong or not going your way, and you maybe felt very intense feelings and you didn't know what to make of it. In the beginning, before I had my spiritual awakening, like right before I found out that, hey, I'm an empath, I'm going through a spiritual awakening, I was working in a PTSD treatment facility, and I was feeling so much. I was picking up so much, and I didn't know what was going on. So I developed anxiety, depression, panic attacks, the whole 9 yards. And it was not until then I found out that, hey, I'm an empath, and then I started my spiritual awakening journey. But in the beginning, or before that, before I had that awareness, I was feeling so lost. I was feeling so disconnected. So you see, there are many people that are in the same kind of boat, that are feeling somewhat lost in their life, and you can actually help them by you doing your own work, and then eventually, like I said, pay it forward by maybe sharing something with them that has helped you. So that's another reason why why Lightworkers are so very important in this whole greater awakening we're going through right now, because it is truly our mission to help others. And the more Lightworkers are actually awakening and following that path of that greater awakening, that has such a beautiful ripple effect, because it raises the consciousness and the frequency of humanity. And Lightworkers, as Lightworkers, are somewhat meant to be the vehicle, the vessel, the messenger for source, for divine, for spirit, for the guides, for the higher realm, so to speak, expressing higher frequency light through us, whether it's through channeling, through energy healing, through mentoring, through speaking, what I'm doing. But we're basically meant to be the messenger for that higher source energy, for the light beings, and also even galactic beings, if you ever feel called to work with the galactics as well. Maybe you're meant to become a celestial healer and divine messenger. And I want to invite you, if you want to learn a little bit more about what it means to be a divine messenger and celestial healer, there's a video in the description below that I would like to invite you to check out, where I talk a little bit more about that. But I hope you understand now, with what I shared with you, why you being a light worker is so very important, that you do play a very, very important role in this world, in this greater awakening we're going through, because we are really paving the way for all these people that haven't woken up yet. We're being the role models, the way showers, the leaders, the guides to all these people that really need our help. So if you ever feel insignificant in your role, in your life, just think back with what I just shared with you. If you feel like you are a light worker, and I'm pretty sure if you're still watching this video that you are a light worker, then you play a very big and very important role in this greater awakening. Never forget that. Keep doing your own inner work, and then eventually really pay it forward, whether it is maybe you feel called to start a spiritual business, or maybe just share what you're learning with other people, or just maybe even start working with other people, or even, like I said, it doesn't have to be anything big either, but you just maybe doing your own work and being that role model to other people will always be that invitation for them to then say, you know what, I like what he or she is doing, you know what, I gotta find out what they're doing so I can maybe do it too. Right? So just know you are playing a very important role. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button and maybe leave me a comment below. Let me know, have you heard the calling of really stepping into the role of being a light worker? Maybe even up-leveling what you have been doing? Or are you still trying to figure out your role in all this, what's been going on? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to know. But thank you so much for being here. Now be sure to check out this video here, like I mentioned, about the discovering your role as a light worker, to get some more insights into that. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make it an amazingly abundant, successful day. Namaste.